Hey guys, welcome back. How have y'all been lately? Today we're drawing Bardock and Baby Goku, or Kakarot, I suppose. We're doing this in a little bit of celebration of the fact that my own son is going to be born here in a couple of days. And as you can imagine, I'm stressed out and need something else to occupy my mind for 5 minutes. So we're going to go ahead and draw this. This drawing took about 30 minutes of real time. You're looking at it being sped up about 5 times or so. But yeah, Bardock, one of my favorite characters from Dragon Ball Z, specifically the version we get in the movie. That's the original version of Bardock. About 20 or 30 years later or so, Akira Toriyama did a little manga that rewrites Bardock's character. If you've seen the Dragon Ball Super Broly movie, you've seen the anime adaptation of that already, where he's a little more like Jor-El from Superman, who actually cares about his son and is the only person that can see that their planet is about to be destroyed and sends him off to save him, just to save him. There's things about that I like. Mostly, the only thing I like is the idea that Bardock is smart enough to realize that Frieza is gunning for them. I kind of prefer that over the version from the movie who gets super magic powers to see the future. But beyond that, the movie is the more is much better than the manga. I think one of the main reasons it appeals to me so much is just how harsh Saiyans are in that movie. Like Bardock does not give a damn about the existence of his son. The only reason he cares about him at the end is because he sees that he'll be strong enough to fight Frieza one day. And just that depiction of the Saiyans as this ruthless society who don't really care about their offspring unless they have, actual value. Like if you're strong, you matter, and if you don't, who the hell cares? I'm not advocating that that's a good way to live, but for what has been referred to as the ultimate warrior race, that feels pretty on point, and it was something that I had never really seen in fiction before watching this movie. I first saw it in the 90s. I was a big fan of Dragon Ball Z pretty much since it first came to America. I'm that old. And even though I liked the anime, I preferred the manga. I was actually buying the manga as it came out in America. So my collection is really hodgepodge because Viz kept changing the size of their editions and what have you. And for whatever reason, I never went back and bought the newer versions of the older volumes to create a consistent shelf space. I just have the original first editions of pretty much every version that Viz released. Nowadays, I have versions in Japanese. I have versions in German. I have the collection multiple times over. But I always preferred the manga because if you're watching this, you're probably a Dragon Ball Z fan, and you probably know that the pacing is really, really bad in the anime in order to stay behind the manga. But the pacing in the manga is a lot better. But I preferred the manga, and I also preferred the movies. I loved the movies over the anime because they were like bite-sized, one-and-done stories. You could just watch, Dead Zone or World's Strongest and take about 45 minutes, and you're in and you're out. But no, yeah, this was my favorite. The Bardock movie really is it's not the best representation of the franchise as a whole, but it's my favorite because it's such an outlier. There's like hardly any comedy in it. The whole thing is just grim from minute one to the finale. It's grim, hopeless, and it's the kind of thing you didn't really get to see in Dragon Ball or Dragon Ball Z. I think that's probably why a lot of people like it too, because the things a lot of people like about Dragon Ball Z are like concentrated in the Bardock movie. Someone once asked online, like, why do people like Bardock so much? And my answer was because he's Goku without the stupidity, and he's Vegeta without the entitlement. The character of Bardock is this really serious, but also kind of smartassy, smart aleck character. He doesn't have a lot of the flaws that the main characters have. Again, he doesn't make the mistakes that Goku makes or that Vegeta make because of their worldviews and dysfunctions. He's pretty efficient. He doesn't mess around. The only thing that doesn't the only problem he really has is that he's not as strong as Goku and Vegeta. But that again, that arguably makes him a better character because he's always on the back foot. The Bardock movie and the Trunks movie are really horror movies in a way that the rest of Dragon Ball Z isn't, because those are like the only times where characters are weaker than the monsters they're fighting, but don't ever get stronger than them to overcome them. You know, the Namek saga is a horror story, especially when they're fighting Frieza because he's so strong. But eventually, you get the catharsis of Goku going Super Saiyan and winning. But you don't get that with Bardock or with the future Trunks movie. But anyway, let me know what you guys think. Just a quick little sketch, father and son celebrating the fact that I'm going to be a father here in a couple of days. Let me know in the comments anything you want to see me draw or help you learn how to draw in the future. And I promise we'll be doing more of these as time goes on. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Have a great day. Have a great new year. And talk to you later. Bye.